Moving up. Trial 11, mobile for the 3-year-old trotters. Number 1 is Glenfrey Pat, Jeff Walker. 2 is Soho Ledger, Chris Elford. 3, Nico Serrano, John Keldo. And on the outside, Barbara Jean, Anne-Marie Conroy, which began the best and has little trouble working its way across the lead. Barbara Jean, the leader, into the turn from Nico Serrano, Soho Ledger and Glenfrey Pat. Out of the straight they go. Anne-Marie Conroy in the sulky. Barbara Jean in front leads 7 metres. Nico Serrano in second position. Soho Ledger third. And Glenfrey Pat, who started from the inside, is back fourth. Entering the back straight with 1,800 metres to travel, and Barbara Jean the leader. A clear leader, but there's not much pace on. It's 10 metres in front of Nico Serrano, Soho Ledger, and Glenfrey Pat is last of the quartet. They're approaching the 1,600 metres, and Barbara Jean is on top. Barbara Jean in a lead time 51.6. Barbara Jean, 8 metres Nico Serrano. Third is Soho Ledger. And then fourth is Glenfrey Pat as they make their way off the back straight. So the 3-year-olds, Glenfrey Pat, Soho Ledger and Nico Serrano, and Barbara Jean, who's older than that. It's a TRO, and it leads at the 1,300. 6 metres to Nico Serrano, Soho Ledger and Glenfrey Pat. Into the straight. They're heading towards the 1,200 metres after completing one circuit, and Barbara Jean is on top. Still holds that similar 10-metre margin. First quarter in 34. Barbara Jean is in front of Nico Serrano. Third, Soho Ledger, and fourth is Glenfrey Pat. They have a circuit left to travel. Barbara Jean leads. The Bob Conroy trained Barbara Jean in front of Nico Serrano. They've held their same positions throughout. Third is Soho Ledger, but it just pops away from the pegs, but it flushes out Nico Serrano ahead of it, and now sliding through along the inside is Glenfrey Pat. 800 metres left to travel, and Barbara Jean goes through the second quarter a little bit quicker, 32.7. It leads 3 metres to Nico Serrano going into the back straight, and then came Soho Ledger and Glenfrey Pat on the pegs. 600 metres left to trot. Along the back straight, Barbara Jean in front, and it leads Nico Serrano by a metre. And there's 7 metres in front of Soho Ledger, and on the inside fourth is Glenfrey Pat. They're making their way off the back straight. Barbara Jean in front. Sitting out a little bit wider from it is Nico Serrano, but it's just about level. And they're 6 metres ahead of Soho Ledger and Glenfrey Pat. Third quarter in 30.1. And coming around the final turn, Barbara Jean still the leader from Nico Serrano. Soho Ledger now peeling out wider third, and Glenfrey Pat in behind them fourth. Into the straight, Barbara Jean. 2 metres Nico Serrano, and wider out is Soho Ledger. It's Barbara Jean, Nico Serrano. Soho Ledger's joining in now. Soho Ledger goes up to Nico Serrano. Nico Serrano, Soho Ledger. Soho Ledger wins it narrowly. Soho Ledger from Nico Serrano. Third, Barbara Jean, and fourth in Glenfrey Pat. The final quarter, 29.6, mile rate of 2.8. Soho Ledger prepared by Jane Davies, a 3-year-old that was qualifying here today, driven by Chris Elford. And looks like it's just bloused Nico Serrano. Marie Keldo trained and John Keldo driven, and Barbara Jean, who led for most of the trip, in third. Glenfrey Pat will be fourth. Overall time of 2:58.2. Mile rate 2.8. Last mile in 2:6.6. Last half mile in 59.8. Last mile 2:6.6. And the last half mile in 59.8. 2 Soho Ledger first, 3 Nico Serrano second, 4 Barbara Jean third, 1 Glenfrey Pat fourth. 2, 3, 4 and 1. The margins half ahead by 3 metres, half ahead by 3.